What's up, everybody? My name's Dan. I'm into everything golf cart related here lately. I redid a 1999 Yamaha golf cart, every nut, bolt, total paint job, lift kit, wheels, tires, etc. Spent about $7,000 to $8,000. Turned out pretty sweet. A couple years ago, I sold my house, got out of debt, and decided to go spend some time with my dad in Florida. So I took my golf cart and a bunch of stuff down there with me, and by the time I came home, I ended up leaving my golf cart for my dad, so I was out of a project. I'm a Harley rider, so I decided a while ago I'm going to check out some of these old Harley golf carts. So lo and behold, I have acquired about 9 Harley golf carts, so I can take a whole lot to build one good one because these parts are getting hard to find. So I bought one. I overpaid like $2,000 for it. I'll show you here in a little bit, just to see what it was, what it looked like, how stuff was set out, and so I have an example how to build my golf cart. So this is basically what I started out with. I think I bought 4 of these from a guy close to where I live. Bare frame, pretty rusty. There's serial tags on all these carts. This is a J1, so that means it's a 1971. They started building these in 1963, and I believe in like 1982, they ended up selling the brand to Columbia golf carts. So there's a lot of history in these things. Coming up, I'll take you into my shop and show you what I've got going on. Since I sold my house, like I told you, I kind of had to find a place to do some work. So I bought one of these sheds and had it put on the property I'm staying at right now so I can have a little work area. Excuse the mess. But yeah, like I said, this was the first golf cart I started out with I bought. I paid way too much. Guy did a half-ass restoration on it, but it's a solid cart. And this is an H1, so that means it's a 1971. Battery in the rear. In the later models, they put the battery off to the side, put the gas tank in the back, kind of reconfigured them a little bit different. But this one actually ran. It doesn't do too bad, but it's not something I created, so I decided to go ahead and take one. This one I found in the field. I paid $150 for it. Without an engine. It had a rear end, a gas tank, that was about it. Everything else was pretty roach. I sandblasted the frame, sandblasted these, had to do a lot of body work on them to get them halfway decent, you know, everything. The fuel tank, sandblasted, painted, rear end's gone through. The first thing I really started out was with the motor, because if you don't have something decent to start out with, like a crankshaft, it's hard to get parts for these. I mean, you can get some seals, gaskets. They sell a piston kit, but you can't get like crankshaft parts, connecting rods, or anything like that. This is the point I'm at. I've had the frame sandblasted. I did a lot of body work on it. I built a custom battery tray for the back because on these carts, they all rot out because of the battery acid. Went through the rear end. I've been trying to polish, use all stainless steel bolts. And during the engine rebuilding process, I had a hard time getting the flywheel off of the crankshaft. So I kind of like tinged it up with a hammer and beat it up pretty good. It was like a solid chunk of rust anyway. I sandblasted it, cleaned it up, painted it, and what I thought was timing marks weren't the timing marks. I made a couple white dots because this actually has 2 marked points for timing, a forward timing and a reverse timing. So I just took a white marker and made those. So after I got everything all built and I got to the point, well, okay, you know, I got spark, got compression, gonna get this thing running, got my gas going. I got it to run, but I had to choke it real bad and it kept spitting and sputtering and backfiring. And so I tried a different carburetor, I tried different points, I tried different plugs, yada, yada, yada. And still the same result. I couldn't get it to run worth a crap. So I slept on it, watched a bunch of videos, and they said timing is everything on these engines. So okay, let's start with the basics on timing. Do simple math. So I got a dowel rod. All right, spark plug out. And what's unique about these carts is this engine runs forward, and this engine will run backwards. By changing the direction, it changes the polarity of the starter motor. So you need to find the forward direction of the engine. So, all right, there we go. It's running that way. So I made a forward mark. Let's find bottom dead center. Kind of rock it back and forth. Make sure your dowel rod's on top of the piston good because it's kind of got a crown to it. So keep it on top, rock it back and forth. All right, I found bottom dead center. I made a reference mark equal with the fin on the head just for a reference mark. So that was bottom dead center. So I rotated in the forward direction and I found top dead center by rocking it back and forth. Once again, I made a reference mark. So I've got top dead center, I've got bottom dead center. Well, let's split that in half, which is 50% or 180 degrees. So there's a half of those two. So then let's split that again to 25% or 25 degrees. So then I made a nice solid mark all the way around. And then I rocked it back down till I got it to the 25 degrees before top dead center. And there is a timing hole you can look through right here. I mean, it's kind of hard to see. Some of these carts are pretty rusty and gnarly, but my marks that I made that I thought was 25 degrees, obviously I was incorrect. So I found my 25 degrees before top dead center. Then you go back to your ignition timing plate, which I played with these two. I was thinking, all right, let's try a different plate. Maybe that was something messed up to that. But it wasn't the case. So you come around here, you've got a little cam that drives the point. And there's the highest point. You kind of rock it back and forth till you see what you think is the highest point where it's on. There's a little pad there that drives the points open and closed. Find that highest point. I went back, stuck my thing in the hole, made my reference mark, found that 25 degrees before top dead center. I'm on the highest point, my points are opening, and then set that to 22 thousandths with a feeler gauge. I did that, locked it down. I was like, okay, this has got to work. I'm last resort. Spark plugs have torque settings. They're not very much. Just use some common sense. Ignition, forward. All right, let's see if she'll fire up. There you go. Man, I'm so happy. I've got so much time and money invested in this project. And if this helps you, that's awesome. There's a Facebook site called Harley Davidson Golf Carts. I'm a member. There's a lot of members out there. They share tips with you. There's a few videos out there that I watched. One guy in particular, Sab's Garage, SABS Garage. He does a 4-part process on how to rebuild these engines, how to shim the crank on these things. And he's got some clutch rebuild videos. So he was very helpful. He actually has a timing video that I watched where he uses a timing light and a dial indicator in the piston, but I didn't have all that, so he kind of got me on the right path. And like I said, I watched a bunch of video, looked at a bunch of blogs, and everybody said timing, timing, timing. And I appreciate Sab's Garage and everybody else that's helped me out.
What's next for this cart?
I'm doing the body work on this cart. I'm a body man by trade, so thus I know how to paint and do a lot of this stuff. The body panels are pretty bad shape on this cart. I've actually got the nose cone redid up top, the front fenders. I'm going to do blue and white two-tone. Everybody does the Harley Hugger orange and black, and I found this light blue metallic. It's really pretty. I had some extra paint left over in my paint shop. So it's going to be blue and white. I sent a lot of stuff to be re-chromed, which if you ever had something re-chromed, it's not cheap. I'm looking at $4,000 to re-chrome the bumpers. There's metal body plates and stuff like this. So yeah, I'm going to have a sick amount of money in this golf cart, but man, it's going to be one of a kind, and it's something I enjoy doing. And my son will probably end up with it when I'm done with it, so that's even more special.
How many total you think you're gonna have?
I'm up to 9 carts that I bought, some, just for pieces of parts, but I've got enough parts I can probably build 3 decent ones. I think my best barn find was a $200, an original 1976 golf cart, all intact. So that's probably going to be the one I tackle next after all this.
Was that the meth head special?
That was the meth head special. We doubt if it was even his golf cart. It was behind some old abandoned house. But hey, you know what? No fuss, no fuss. We loaded it up and we were out of there. So.
Where was that at?
Oh man, it was down like by Lake Erie, I believe. It was a ways away.
So if that's your cart, we're sorry, but it's getting restored.
There you go. So yeah, man, it's just fun. These things are so unique. And the way this one's screaming, man, this thing is going to fly. But you got to be careful because it's got a tiller steering wheel. So if you lean into a turn too fast, you can watch some old videos of these guys on golf courts crashing these things, and they're hilarious. But yeah, they're pretty unique, pretty special, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I know I'm going to when I get it done.
I think you need to do one original, just one.
One original?
The cream colored,
The cream colored, that's hard to do because everybody has taken these things and repainted them. So the cream colored original carts was actually the color of the gel coating For the fiberglass, so you could replicate that with paint, but man, that'd be tough.
I challenge you.
A challenge? Okay, challenge accepted. Appreciate you. Take care.